should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Happy Fridays!
Yes, we have a good group waiting. Woohoo!
I love that. Welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I'm Linda. That is Abby. We are covering Before the 90 Days. We are only on episode 4, so it's season 8, episode 4. It's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm just going to apologize if I sound like a negative Nancy. I was telling Abby backstage here that there's just a lot going on in this episode, and it's all just blah.
Yeah, we have lots of notes of things that we probably are going to complain about.
Yeah, but I mean, for good reason, like you said. Hey, Raydella. Hey, girl. Hey. All right, we're gonna start with Lisa now. Lisa, I was calling her Laura, but it's in that whole same genre that we know, like baby girl Lisa, Laura, you know, just that whole Danielle, like the whole shebang of women that have no business dealing with these men because they should know better. Anyway, she's 52. And, we know her and we've met her with her daughter. And we find out like first 3 seconds into the episode that she pees when she's nervous. And so she's worried that that's going to happen because she's excited about this trip, about Daniel, about the whole thing. And she's worried that she might be too old for him. But she's packing and she's leaving for Nigeria, y'all. Now, the daughter, Faith, is still kind of like her mom is, in my opinion, toxic towards her. And I think she definitely just needs to go to therapy and kind of separate for a bit and figure out her own stuff. But she thinks that, Daniel could be a scammer. And she wants to make sure that her mom's not being scammed because, her mom has been in a lot of relationships and it has hurt her and it has made her grow up not with a lot of issues, right? Because the mom, Lisa, always picks a partner over her own child, and that's really, really sad to me as well. We also find out that Lisa wears wigs, and y'all, wear a wig, love your wig, own your wig. I'm all about it. But she's bringing three wigs with her. And one of the things I wanted to dispel, she says it's a process that she gets rashes and sores. And she's stressed about going there with her wigs because she's going to be wearing her wigs 24/7 while she's with Daniel. First of all, I don't know what synthetic cheap wig she's wearing that's giving her rashes and sores, but that is not how wigs work. Especially if you are investing in a good wig with human hair, that is not going to be your problem. Okay? It's not.
It sounds like she's allergic to something.
Yes, cheap wigs, cheap synthetic.
We did learn that she was allergic to latex, so I think it's not much of a stress to think that she's also allergic to something that's being produced in the wig, even though it's a cheap wig, because I've worn synthetic wigs and they didn't give me a rash. Like, this is a woman who is deeply unaware of her body. She's like, I pee on myself when I get nervous. Ma'am, you're incontinent. She's deeply unaware of her own body.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. But I'm just saying, don't believe the funk, y'all. Don't believe the funk. Her daughter is super nervous for her because she says not only is she not, aware of her own body, but she's horrible with directions. And she's hoping that her mom doesn't fall into this relationship trap that she normally always falls into, but she's struggling to trust her mom and trust that her mom is going to make wise decisions. Can you imagine, y'all? that you just are, you have a parent that you can't trust?
No, I can't.
Not only that, she is still married, y'all. She's still married, and she's giving this huge responsibility for a certificate letter for divorce on Faith's shoulders. So I guess some certificate, I don't know how it works, but some certificate is coming that Faith then needs to go and bring to the courts. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't very clear because is that how divorces work?
I don't know what she's talking about. My best guess is that she's asked for a divorce by publication as opposed to regular service. And she wants the court to get notice that the publication has been done so they can proceed with the divorce. That's my best guess about what she's talking about. But I don't do family law, guys. So I'm relying on information that I learned in 2002.
All I'm saying is it shouldn't be Faith's responsibility, period. Right. And so the other thing that's going to be an issue is that she's lied about, not only has she been a lesbian for the past 20 years, she is still married. She's not divorced. And she hasn't told Daniel, who, you know, she loves so much, any of this. She's actually lied to him, you guys, and hasn't told him anything about her true self. I just don't get it. Like, what is your true self? I'm not even quite sure. Do you know, Laura?
That's what I was about to say. I don't think she even knows. This is someone who, I learned this last year. She's male-centered. She is so male-centered. Let's say she's partner-centered because she's been a lesbian for a long time, that she doesn't really have a concrete identity. She cut all her hair off for a past partner. She moved all over the place for other partners. She puts her daughter in financial jeopardy and borrows money from a friend to send money to Daniel. She's so deeply male-centered that she has no personality of her own.
Agreed.
And she doesn't know her own body. Like with the whole opener, I know you passed by it already, but I can't get over it. How are you're a woman who's 52 years old who pisses all over herself all the time. How do you not realize that you're incontinent?
I keep calling her Laura. Lisa, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. I think maybe stop chasing the men and start spending some time with yourself and figure it out. I don't know. Faith, her daughter has said, listen, whatever you do, don't get married while you're in Nigeria. And when I heard that line, I already knew, you guys, she's going to get married. 100%. And when the producers asked her, would you go against Faith's wishes? She's like, I mean, if he proposes. And there it is. So always choosing the man over her own child is wild to me, you guys. But she's hoping Daniel will be her sixth and final spouse. Six, y'all.
Imagine having that many prior spouses and still being broke.
Broke and unaware and chasing and all of it, just all of it. 6. We also meet Daniel, and y'all, Daniel is no better as far as I'm concerned. 39. He's from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria, but he's also Christian. We learned that he grew up poor. His mom died. And you guys, when he said this, I want you to go and fact check with any Nigerian that you come across. Now, me being a Guinean, I'm going to tell you that this is absolutely not true, what he's about to say, in my personal opinion. Okay. In my personal opinion, absolutely not true. But maybe this happened. I don't know. But he grew up poor, which is also a stereotype, because if you've ever gone to anywhere in Africa, you know that there are, yes, of course, poor slums, but there's also amazing resources and riches and beautiful homes and rich people as well. Just like in America, you guys, okay? You're going to go to America and you're going to go to California, going to LA. Yes, there's Beverly Hills, but there's also Skid Row downtown LA. I mean, you're not going to take your peoples to Skid Row downtown LA because that's not what they're looking for. So just want you to keep that in mind when the stereotypes of Africa come out, because it really bugs me. But his mom died, he said. His mom was in a war and she was almost killed. And before she passed, she said a white woman saved her, and therefore she wants Daniel to marry a white woman. Do you want to say anything about that, Abby?
Daniel, you don't have to lie to us. You don't have to lie to us about why you're pursuing this white woman. You don't got to lie on your mom's name.
That part, because you guys, you know what? In that same breath, y'all, he then went on to say why he loves Lisa, because she supports him financially. He loves her big tatas, and he loves her for that. Also, he wants to go to America. So just say that. Just say this is a green card convenient. You've been praying to your gods, because that's what he also did say, praying to your gods to get out of Nigeria and go to America. And boom, this woman who doesn't have her own money, is not financially stable, has not told you any of the truth, but you love her because she supports you financially. But he wants to make sure he's making a good decision. So he's going to go see a spiritual leader. And this is another thing that is, I don't know. And if someone out there knows, I'm sure I can look it up. But so he's Christian, but he's also Igbo. And so he has a spiritual leader who is going to ask the multiple gods a question. I'm sorry, you guys. Everything that Abby says about me is true. If I don't believe you, I just have a hard time believing anything that you're talking about. And so this is why I'm stumbling over my words, because I just think that all of this is nonsense. Everything that Daniel has said is nonsense. I don't believe it. I don't believe his spiritual leader, it's actually in the background right now, drew with some chalk, some circles and some candles, and is rolling dice with some alcohol. I just don't think that that's how it works. And I could be wrong, but I don't believe so.
The only reason I don't believe it is because I don't think they would allow you to make a video of an actual ritual.
That's the part. That's the part. Hello.
So do I believe there are rituals? Yes. Do I believe that they would allow this to be filmed? No. I mean, the only things that I know about that I believe to be true about Igbo people is word of mouth. I would never see a video of it.
I don't believe whatever this man is saying. I think he's throwing a cornucopia of BS at us and hoping that no one really knows what the truth is. So he's asking his spiritual leader whether or not Lisa's going to be good or bad for him. He doesn't like the fact that she vapes, doesn't like the fact that she's been married 2 times, and doesn't like the fact that she was once physical with a woman, because same sex is not accepted in Nigeria. But the spiritual leader says, go ahead. She's going to bring you good things, success. Your ancestors have approved. You can move forward. It's going to be a great change for your life. And Daniel, is so happy because he's been talking to God to take him away from Nigeria and to go to America. That is it, y'all. And if you all can't see that that's what all this is about, period, full stop, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is quintessential 90-day fiance. I'm here for it. I'm telling you, it's wild and ridiculous behavior, but I'm here for it.
If I was allowed to have a conversation with him, I would actually like to have a very open, honest conversation with him. And it would start with, can you explain to me why it's not okay for same-sex people to have a relationship, but it is okay to be completely financially dependent on a woman.
Mm.
Doesn't the church also say that as a man you're supposed to lead? As a man you're supposed to be the protector and take care of the family structure?
I'm just trying to figure out what faith is he actually even following? I would follow that your question up with what faith are you actually following, right? Because if
Well,
he's
oh,
saying
good.
he's saying he's Christian, but he's also saying that he has other spiritual advisors and leaders that are doing like rituals and stuff like that. And I guess you can believe in multiple things, but to me that sounds like you're believing in multiple things, right? One of the things is not in line with Christianity. So what is it that you actually believe? Like, what are you following in your life? I'm not
Mhm.
sure.
Oh,
Maybe it's
I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people who don't actually, they will call themselves Christians, but they do not believe in one God. For me, that's not the way that I grew up understanding what Christianity is, but there are a lot of people in the world who see no conflict in that. And who am I to say what they should or shouldn't believe in? Because as you know, I don't believe in any of it.
Oh Lord, we are already off track and we're already 16 minutes in. That's not what Christianity is, and you all can. I know what I believe, and that I don't believe that Daniel knows what he believes, and if he does, I would love to understand what that looks like. Uh, and that's where I'll leave it. Do you want to add anything else? Because that is a lot for
I
Lisa.
mean, that's all to say about them. You guys, when we get into the episodes where they actually meet each other, so much more to say. So I'll hold it until then because this whole
Well,
thing is a mess. Normally, the situation is that we have the male partner who's withholding information from the female partner. And this is completely opposite. And the things that she's withholding are pretty big. On
major.
top of major, on top of not being financially solvent, which immigration wise means that she's not going to be capable of supporting a petition for him on her own anyway. She would either have to get her daughter or maybe her friend that she's been borrowing money from to be a co-sponsor if she did want to bring him to the United States. So that's something else, that we'll talk about and to think about if you happen to be an immigrant who's watching this and your partner, that they're borrowing money from other people, you might want to move on to the next American because that person's not going to be able to financially sponsor you alone. And you're not coming here to live a bad life. Like, shoot for the moon.
Oh gosh, y'all it's outrageous. But I mean, this is what we signed up for. Uh, Javon is next.
Okay.
Meeting Javon for the first time. He's 38, straight out of Jacksonville, Alabama. And I didn't know what was going on at first. You guys, all I saw were these old ladies reminiscing marriages, playing bingo. And then I was like, did I change the channel? But
I thought it was a commercial.
I was not sure. I was like, who are these people? What's happening? But we find out because he makes his entrance that he works at a nursing home. And he explains off the bat that it's a low paying job. And I was like, well, what exactly is your job there? Because again, that seems to be a little bit of a stereotype. Not all nursing homes are low paying jobs. In actuality, if you own a nursing home, you're going to the bank every day. And if you are like a registered nurse, I mean, you already know, even if you're a home health care worker, it's not as much, but you're not like, oh, it's low paying. You can't do anything with your life. So I'm curious to know what his position is, Abby.
It looked like he just did like activities. It didn't look like he was doing nursing duties because we didn't see him dressed like he was going to be doing any like cleaning up or taking vitals or anything like that. He was just passing out juices. So maybe he's like an event or activities coordinator for the nursing home.
And
And
even
that,
that wasn't there for the activities. He was just bringing them their treats.
right. Right. So I would suspect that although it might be a fun thing for him, because some people do really enjoy being around older people and their kind of like humor, that probably wouldn't bring in a lot of money. But just like you said, other jobs at the nursing home could, but it doesn't look like he's in one of those higher paying jobs.
That part. Okay, you guys. So Javon, and I want to know if this is true for Americans. So Javon says one of the reasons he's had a hard time meeting someone in America is because women here want the 3 6s: 6-pack, 6 figures, and 6 inches, and none of those things are him.
I mean, I appreciate that he knows that he's not like a high earner, but there's a lot of women out there dating broke dudes. So it has to be more than that. It has to be a personality issue. Has to be, because he's not a bad looking person. He's not super short. He seems well dressed. So there has to be some kind of personality issue that makes it difficult for him to have a relationship with an American woman. And he's in a place, or if it's not a personality issue, he simply prefers not to date Black women because he's in a place where there's a ton of them.
Let me know your thoughts in the live chat, in the replay, you guys. Do American women look for 6-packs, 6 figures, and 6 inches? And if you don't have those things, they are not dating you. I'm curious because I'm tending to lean towards what Abby is saying, that I don't think it's any of those things when it comes to him specifically.
Right.
He's going to the Philippines. He's going to see his wife. Let me just say that a little slower because it sounds wild. He's going to the Philippines and he's going to see his wife that he's never met for the first time.
Hey, Tina.
Her name is Anna Lynn. She's 38, lives in the Philippines. They connected online 5 years ago, and they've been married. What he says, and this is part of where, so their situation, I feel, is a lot staged because he keeps making mistakes in their meet cute and their whole story. And I can't stand when, obviously this is made up because he's saying one thing and y'all aren't even editing it out. But he said that they met online 5 years ago. They've been married for 2 years. And she's like, what? He said that? No, we've been in a relationship for 6 years and we've been married for almost 3 years. So you guys figure it out. Whatever it is, it's been many years and they haven't met, but they're married. She thinks he's handsome. They used to talk for hours every day. COVID hit. No one could travel. So she came up with the idea that they could get married online, which I didn't know was a thing, y'all. Did you all know that I could be in Europa and you can be in Timbuktu and we could be like, hey, we love each other and we can get Zoom married we've never even met in real life. You all are wild for that. Absolutely ridiculous. You already know that I said if you were in an online relationship and you've never met that person is your online pen pal. That is not your significant other, and you should absolutely 100% not get married online. What kind of cockamamie nonsense is that?
It's Utah nonsense. Utah has so many special rules to accommodate, I'm going to offend somebody, the Mormons out there. So Utah does allow online marriages. They will issue a marriage certificate. For immigration purposes, though, they only will accept that marriage certificate as valid from Utah Online Marriage Services if you can prove that the marriage has been consummated.
Oh, so this is not even it yet because they haven't even met. So
yeah, so they have to meet in person, either in her home country or a third country, before he would even be able to take action to petition for her. So when he said, I want to meet her at least one time before I start the spousal process. You have to, because you can't start it without proving that the marriage has been consummated. Which people, when you're proving that, I don't need to see photos of you in bed, no matter how I explain it. Like, show me where you visited each other. Where's your travel itinerary? Show me your airplane ticket. Show me an event that you went to together when you like, they still will send me pictures of them in bed. I don't need to see that.
Yeah, this wild. Question of the day: would you get married online? Let me know.
Absolutely not. I barely want to get married in real life. Definitely not get married on. Well, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait. If he's rich.
You could have just stopped while you were ahead, Abby. But hey, you know what? Whatever makes you happy, if it works, it works. But not online, y'all, and not if you've never met the person. Sounds wild to me. But he goes on to say that it was the happiest day of his life. He has the quote perfect wife, and I just don't know how he would know that since he has never met her. And even the old ladies in the nursing home, how can you be married for years and never met your wife? And his response is because it's expensive. He's had to work and finances. So we can already tell right now, y'all, that he ain't nada. 38, about nothing, bringing nothing to the table, nada. He can barely take care of himself. And, you know, his sister's driving him around to get his last minute extras. I mean, you guys, what is he bringing to the table? I'm trying to figure it out. And you're going to try to sponsor a whole person that you're responsible for. Like, make it make sense to me, you guys. What is happening right now? Okay. So we meet his sister Ashley. They're running around with the last minute errands. And this is where in the storyline, he's like, oh, you know, I've been married for 3 years. Well, just 10 minutes ago, you said 2 years. So what is it? Get your storyline correct, Javon, because I'm not going to do this whole season and pick apart all the things that you're lying about so that you're going to have to backtrack and explain it to the people. We are not new. We have been with this franchise for a long time. Get it together. We find out that Ashley thinks that Annalyn is a good time, but she's a lot of work. She calls her unhinged, off her rocker, and this relationship that they have is not a normal marriage. We find out that Annalyn called Ashley at work talking about that woman, and she was upset, and the sister's like, who's that woman? And he's like, oh, it's a friend of mine. We communicated, you know, we talk well, and we stayed on the phone for hours. And when I was having problems in my marriage, what problems were you having exactly? Because I mean, maybe I don't know what marriage really is, because to me, you just have an online friend. I just, are you sending, like, what are you don't have any money. You haven't met your wife, and you've been married for 6 years and you have not met her. So are you sending her money? Like, what problems are you having?
So what I understood him saying, or how I interpreted it, is that at some point in their talking and back and forth, Annalyn stopped stroking his ego. In the beginning, it was all complimentary and I love yous, and him getting what he wanted emotionally out of that, you know, some nice words. And then at some point, she was like, why haven't you been able to make it out here? Why don't you have the money to get out here? You know, and when the questions start coming, he's feeling like she's not doing her job of stroking my ego anymore. Now she's making me feel just as broke as the American girls did. He didn't say any of that, y'all. That's just what I heard.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. 100%. She is upset about this other woman, and notice that the other woman was not named. I don't believe there's another woman. I think he's just BSing so that he thinks that he can get her jealous, and then more like, oh my gosh, baby, don't leave me for someone else, because you didn't even tell your sister what this other woman's name was. You're just like, oh, there's a other woman. Whatever. But Annalyn is not having it. She's blocked him. He can't get a hold of her, which I think is hilarious because you blocked your husband. Hilarious. And so finally the sister's like, listen, you need to figure this out before you go there. You guys need to sort through your nonsense. And so he calls her and she literally answers, what do you want now? We haven't talked in a week. Then don't be so aggressive. And that's where, in all capitals, I said what? Because I had just listened, even the sister label this woman all these things. And, you know, Black women get a lot of labels, but I want to tell you that minority women specifically get labeled a bunch of stuff that just, where are you getting it from? So she was already labeled unhinged, off her rocker. She's a good time. Think about, we're talking about the Philippines right now. Passport bros, keep that all in your mind. And then now she's aggressive. What is she aggressive? Because she said, what do you want now? Because just like Abby just said, he needs, you're the best. I love you. Lot. He needs to be stroked, y'all. And she's like not doing that anymore. So now she's aggressive. Make it make sense, you guys. Someone make it make sense to me, because I am literally like, what are you talking about? What was aggressive in that? Do I not know what aggressive means? He says he's dealing with a lot and he's feeling not emotionally supported. Again, going back to what Abby said. So he's calling his good time girl, who is supposed to make him feel better. He doesn't have to bring anything to the table. He just has to show up on a FaceTime, a Zoom call, and she's supposed to tell him how amazing he is and how perfect he is and how good looking he is. And guess what? She's done that for 6 years and she's kind of over it, because what is she getting out of it? She's not his therapist, and even therapists get paid. My note says he's gaslighting her. And this is what's said. You have family. You can go to therapy. She's like, you're in America. You have a big family. Go talk to them. Go to therapy. You're in America. You have to go to therapy. But he wasn't receiving that. And that's why he's blaming her that he reached out to this other woman because he wasn't getting what he needed from her. You know, you reached out to her because she stopped stroking your ego. You tried to do a double back, circle back to this girl, see if she could stroke your ego, because you're a broke person who probably, to me, don't have a support system that you can actually talk to and talk through some things. So you're hoping that women who you find you're attractive will continue to feed your ego because you're lacking in whatever it is, whether it's self-esteem or attention or money or communication, whatever it is you're lacking. You want these women to adore you and pour into you so that you can feel better about yourself. And as soon as they stop doing that, guess what? They're the worst, and they're not good, and they're aggressive, and they're unhinged, and it's their fault. Oh my Lord, stop it.
Beware of men like this, guys. Beware of men who are unable to sustain an emotional connection through difficulty, that they need you to always be praising them. If any difficulty arises, they shut down.
Beware, 100%. Moving on to Emma and Ziad. Overall
I had
thoughts?
forgot all about this girl. She came on the thing and I was like, oh yeah, her. Forgot about her. Emma, what are you doing? Emma, why are you here? Emma. If I was able to speak to Emma, my first question would be, girl, why are you got a fetish for Moroccan men who mistreat you?
Yeah. Yep. You've been to Morocco, right?
Yes, I actually was going to send you some pictures from Izmir. I'm sorry, that's Turkey. From Marrakesh, because I have been there where they are. And the markets they were walking through, very cool. All the spices and everything. So what was interesting to me is that the spices that they use in their food are a lot more of the aromatic spices. So when you're eating, they don't hit you in your taste buds here. They hit you here more. And that's a really enjoyable experience of food.
Mm. And what was your experience overall there? Because, I don't know if you are following any of the like sporting news or like social media news with Morocco, but like iSpeed was there and had a terrible time. There's a lot of like racism. They were throwing bananas at him. And then, the Senegalese team, if you guys watch football, aka soccer, went against Morocco, and that match was wild, and they were really being terrible to people of color. And I'm just so shocked because I have not seen that experience, that part of it, Morocco before. And so for them to be coming into the news for literal racism against people of color is crazy to me because, Morocco is in Africa.
They don't feel that way.
And that's a whole thing I know. I know Northern Africans, Egypt. I know. But
yeah,
it's still Africa.
So here's some of the weird things that happened when I was in Morocco. It was not my best trip. This trip made me actually lose my nerve to take another solo trip. I took a break after Morocco because I had just lost a lot of my confidence. But one thing that happened, I was walking with a guide, with a group, and he said to me and me only, over there is where you can visit the African market. And I said, why is that one the African market? Why isn't all of this that we're in the African market? And he just kind of brushed me off. So somebody else in the group wanted to go over there. So we went over there and I was like, oh, he means the dark-skinned people.
Yeah, you guys. So if any of you have been to Morocco or have had any similar experiences or have heard of anything, I'm really disappointed to hear all about all of this, and shame. That's all I can say is shame. It's just shame, and it's unfortunate that that's what's happening, and we're still here in 2026. Emma and Ziad. Again, this is a couple that I'm just not like. What are we doing? Emma, just go back to LA and chill and get a new job and just live your best life. I'm not sure what it is about Morocco specifically that you're trying to find, because this is the second time that you've been in a relationship with a Moroccan man that has been, not your best look. If you guys remember the episode before, they were fighting back and forth. They spent the night apart. Ziad wakes up and wants to be alone. So he goes out to be alone, and he is doing the rattlesnake dancing with the recorder.
He woke up and went and had a good time.
He's like, bump this girl. But Emma's determined to turn things around. So when he gets back to the house lady, because I don't know what she's called, but the lady that runs the house, the lady of the house lady made breakfast for them. And Emma decides that she's going to talk about their first night together and apologize to him for running away from the kiss that he was trying to give her on the cheek and walking away from him at the airport. And I was like, is he going to apologize to you for anything? Because I don't think that that's what I remember was the issue. The issue was he gaslighted you to get you there. And then now you're here and he's acting like he didn't say all those things. Reminds me of someone that we all know very well. You know, we see you on video. We see you dead. And then you're trying to tell us it's fake news. I just, what?
Right.
Like, don't let people gaslight you, you guys. Anyways, she apologizes to him for whatever reason. Then she starts crying and tells him that she got fired. And that's important, you guys, because, you know, she is funding this trip, right? And has been funding this whole situation with the job that she no longer has after 5 years. And he tells her, you know, don't worry, you'll find a better one. Let's just enjoy our cash and everything will be all good. I love that you can, you know, pacify her, but she's also going to need some real life solutions. And I just don't think that that was a way to say, hey, yeah, let's figure out what we're going to do. And what does that look like for our future? And, you know, can you afford this still? Because, you know, you are the one that's paying. And even though I'm going to take you to the market in a little bit and buy you these 3 little wallets that are equivalent to like $5, but you're going to feel like I'm spoiling you. Sorry, not sorry. Terrible. Okay. They do these little platitudes. They call each other wifey and hubby. And again, just because you say cute little things, you guys, doesn't mean that your problems are disappearing, because everywhere you are, there your problems are if you actually don't talk about them and don't resolve them. So, you know, you could be like, all this stuff, and then be like, oh, but I love you. That's not going to change. You know, if you think about what that sounds like some type of toxic, abusive, unstable relationship.
Right. Emma, you need to get like Greta. Okay. Those flags are waving. You need to get out of there. But I'm not condemning you, because most of us do stay way too long. I'm not saying I'm better than you. We all need to get like Greta.
That part. I agree with that. Greta, listen, I dedicated a whole show to you this week, and I stand in it. I was going to say the 10 toes thing, but I was like, I've used that phrase far too often. So they're in Old Medina shopping market. He buys her these 3 little wallets, and then he wants to introduce her to some traditional foods. So they're going to go and have snails, but she is not having it. And one of the things, you guys, like if you're like a picky eater, or you're not like, you don't like to explore trying new things in food, then just say that. But when you're like, ew, gross, ew, yuck, ew, never, it's really insulting. It also makes you seem low class and uneducated and not an open individual, right? Because and the comparison, because he's like, well, you know, this is a traditional food and I love it. Like, what do you love? And she loves sushi, which is raw fish, which depending on the type of sushi you eat, like inagi, which is eel, it's the same slimy type of texture. So what are you talking about? Is it your mind can't wrap around trying something new, or you actually think it's gross? But whatever it is, there's just a better way to handle yourself, in my opinion. Do you want to add anything before I say something else?
I completely agree with you. I also hate the way that people will turn their nose up to a food when they think that it is a food of poor people versus if it's a food of a higher class. I sincerely doubt that if she was served a plate, or if she was sitting beside somebody in Paris who was served snails, that she would have the same kind of, ooh, yuck, gross response. I feel like this is part of the response is because they're on the street in Marrakesh having the snails, as opposed to sitting down at a fine dining establishment. But a snail is a snail.
Good point. Yep. Rude. So instead of addressing that, they decide that they are going to go on a horse carriage ride. And she has resorted to giving him air kisses every time she wants to be affectionate with him. She wants to. Here was my biggest issue with them in this episode. She wants to tell him about her past. She wants to open up and be vulnerable. And part of explaining her past to him is for him to have an understanding of who she is in totality. Okay. So she says that she's been lied to in the past a lot. And she's trying to tell him or work up the nerve to say that she's been engaged to a Moroccan before, right? Like, but she's trying to give the time frame of it. But he cuts her off immediately. He says he doesn't care about her past. We can leave the past in the past. And he continues to, she tries again, he shuts it down again. And so she's like, wait a minute. Why are you so anti talking about the past? Like, are you hiding something? Because not only does she start doubting herself, but she's also feeling rejected and she's concerned by that. And absolutely, Emma, go with your gut. There's a reason why he doesn't want to talk about the past. And quite frankly, if he doesn't want to know about your past, what does he want to know about? How is he going to get to know you? Part of learning about someone is learning how they've lived their life, learning about their family, learning about how they spend money, learning about how they save money, learning about past relationships, learning about, where they grew up and how they grew up, because that all forms who you are and other stuff as an individual. So if he doesn't want to hear any of that, but he just wants you to show up as Barbie 2.0, it should be concerning to you.
Mm-hmm. But we know that Emma's not going to take it the way that it should, the seriousness that it should be taken, because she shouldn't even still be here with someone who told you blatant lies and refuses to acknowledge that they lied to you about how you can conduct yourselves once you arrive. So.
That, and like, Emma, girl, like, there's a song, and I'm going to use it in reference to you, but look at him and look at you. Look at him and look at you. Look at him and look at you. That's it. That's all I got to say. Moving on to Sheena and Forrest, Dev and Molly.
Lord have mercy. Okay, y'all, we're about to get into it for real now.
Lord
okay. Hold on. Let me turn the light. Let me turn the light so you can see all of the crevices of my face. I have so many opinions.
Okay, you go first.
We are talking about her money. It's her money. Nobody in this family earned this money but her. Y'all are broke. It took y'all 7 years to be able to afford flights to get to where she is. She has a job that she works. She's a professional. Y'all are the ones who are broke. You cannot tell this girl what to do with her own money.
Say it louder, Abby. Say it louder, girl. Say it louder. And the fact that you have the audacity to be screaming at this girl's face and calling her a liar because she's spending her own money on her own family it's wild behavior. And I do want to say that in a previous episode, one of our live chat people questioned, like, well, maybe Forrest has been sending her money all these years. No, he absolutely has not been. He's not been sending her any money because he doesn't have any money to actually get there, right? That's why it took 7 years. And you guys, behind the scenes tea, okay, tea, this is off this episode, I get the tea. I've been slacking on my socials, but I still get the tea. And Forrest, you're great, but you don't handle your finances well. He's been evicted twice from where he lives. and he's actually been like trespassed against one of the places because he kept coming back to his old apartment and harassing the new tenants. So when we talk about monies, clearly it's an issue, and he ain't got it. It is what it is.
Now I've
Tina,
seen
so
instances.
much, so much, Tina, so much. Okay. Do you want to say something else?
I've seen instances where once the immigrant arrives in the United States, that the person uses them for money, like they have to work and give all their money to the US citizen, but never, ever, ever have I seen a situation where the immigrant who's still out of the United States is being relied on for money, especially in a place where the conversion is not in their favor. This is so bizarre to me. So bizarre. And I don't understand. I mean, like, obviously, like, Sheena, I'm guessing, has some kind of emotional or mental issues. But I don't understand why the answer to the question is not simply, it's my money.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Molly, the mom, is all in their business. They get to the Philippines. She feels like the Philippines is hectic. The jeepneys, the taxis that are there, she's like, oh, what are those? Oh my God. And, I get it. She's never left, I was going to say Earth, but she's never left America. So it's the first time ever traveling, first time on a plane, the whole thing. So I get she might be overstimulated or something, but she just sounded very like uneducated. They are staying at an Airbnb because Sheena's parents own the apartment that she lives in Manila. And the parents, who sound business minded, said, well, if they're all coming here, they're going to have to pay to stay here, just like they would pay an Airbnb. And Forrest said, absolutely not. He's been saving for the last 7 years to come to the Philippines, 7 years. So he's not paying her parents any money, and he found that offensive. What did you think of that?
I thought it was really stupid because he's not paying for the place where they're staying anyway. This is the place that Sheena got for them to stay. Because remember, like, walk in and she said, this is the place that I got for you guys. I hope it's okay for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they had just stayed at her parents' place, then that money would have still stayed in the family, as opposed to now Sheena's paying some outsiders for the place where they're staying. So I thought it was stupid. I actually didn't think it was anything wrong with the family saying, if you're going to stay here, then you have to pay, because obviously that is space that they use to make money otherwise.
100%. And also, if you think about it, so Forrest didn't even have the money to pay in the first place. And that's why he's taking offense as well, because Sheena is paying for the Airbnb for all 4 of them to stay. Mm-hmm. So you all scraped your pennies together to get on a flight. But this woman is solely funding your trip. Because when you go on a trip, it's not just about the flight, right? It's the food, it's the lodging, it's the transportation, it's all of those things. And right now, all we're seeing is Sheena is taking them on the town. She's paying for the Airbnb. She's treating them to their meals. So
they're over there just living it up like Jed Clampett.
That part. I think Forrest and his mom are the scammers, Tina said. Facts.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense too, because remember when they were doing the first episode of How They Met, Molly, the mom, is the one who found Sheena in some kind of group for people who wanted to make friends or had social awkwardness or whatever, and introduced him to her son, Forrest. So who's to say she wasn't in that group looking for people to scam?
That part, 100%. 100%. Clip that, because that right there was excellent. Sheena is a foodie, which I love. And what I love about what they're experiencing right now is that she is actually even explaining everything to them. So she's explaining that this is Chinatown and this is what makes it Chinatown. And even down to the noodle place, well, they make the noodles by hand. And this is actually, a festival and what the festival means, like all the things. She is so cultured, you guys, and she is
Mhm.
giving them her culture to experience it in its entirety. And you don't often get that. She's like a tour guide to them, really.
Exactly. I think that her and Trish are doing a very good job of showing us their respective countries. Even
Hmm.
little things like, oh, these jeepneys, they were left behind after World War II, and so now we use them as like kind of like taxi buses. Even little things like that, very good to know and just give people awareness about your country.
That part. That part. Um, they are in the Airbnb. It's quite small. It's nice, but it's quite small. And she is hoping that, you know, they can be together without the parents hearing them. And Forrest feels nervous, right? So he's, don't forget, he bought this lingerie for her. Sheena's nervous, but he's like trying to talk sexy to her to calm the mood. But he doesn't have a doubt, you guys. And these are his words, not mine, because I do not speak wildly, ridiculously. Assured that he's going to be able to blow her socks off, but they both have to be in the right mindset because they're both virgins. Now, I'm just going to leave it there. Because I was going to get into a whole thing. All I know,
I mean, I'll take it further.
please do go.
I mean, I'm looking at him. He can't blow anybody's socks off. I just want people to understand. Let's just talk to men. Let me just talk to men. You have to ask questions. What's up, Basola?
Go ahead.
You have to ask questions and experiment about what your partner likes and dislikes. You have to try some light touches, some light bites, some light kisses. Going into a situation saying, I know how to satisfy you is a guaranteed upset. Okay, that's a guaranteed not going to be satisfactory because how do you suppose that you know me and my body without asking me any questions and without testing anything out? That is a failure going in. I know. He said, I know I could blow her socks off. Absolutely not. You cannot blow a feather off my head.
All I'm going to say is that, Forrest, I saw how you had your first kiss with her, and that's not blowing anything at all. Literally not blowing anything at all. So, I say this to you guys, part of our 5 things that are very important to know and experience before you get serious with someone. I tell you quite frankly and honestly that sex is important. It's important. It's important. It's important. Period. Full stop. It's important. Anyone that tells you it's not important, there's a reason why it's not important to them specifically. So if it's not important to you, it's not important to them, then hey, that's two birds and a feather, two birds that flock together. But if it's important to you, if intimacy is important to you, then you absolutely A, have to have those conversations, and B, you have to, you know, be intimate with that person to make sure that you guys jive. And like Abby said, don't be afraid to communicate your needs and your wants, especially as women. You have wants and needs, and they should be fulfilled just like how your partner is expecting their needs to need to be fulfilled. Okay. Um, they had a great first night. They were, literally playing in bed, rolling over and giggling and doing all those things. They did not get intimate, and Forrest feels like they shouldn't have sex till they know each other more in person. And I do agree with that, but I don't think that that's the reason why he didn't have sex.
I also agree with both of those statements. There's nothing wrong with playing for a while, you guys. Bring back grinding.
Oh Lord.
Bring back
You're wild for that.
kissing in the movies for hours. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. You don't have to just like jump straight to it every single time. Let it build up within you. Have days and weeks of foreplay. Let it be good.
I agree with, except for the grinding part. I think that's wild to me, but I agree with that part, Tina. I don't see nothing wrong with the little. Am I allowed to sing that song anymore or no?
I mean, R. Kelly is canceled, but the sentiment was correct.
Right.
Okay.
So they had fun that night. And Forrest also goes on to say that, you know, not only does he want to know her more, he wants it to be the right time and for his mom not to be around. And that is absolutely valid. Absolutely valid. So they're spending their next day, their new day in the Philippines. They're going to go to Chinatown in Manila. And we learn, like we just talked about, that Chinatown is actually the oldest one. And Sheena gives a little bit of that history, which I just love, you guys. They're in their car service. And Molly,
Paid
the
for
mom,
by Sheena. Go ahead.
yeah, paid for by Sheena. Molly, who's the mom, is sitting in the front, turns to her son and Sheena in the back and asks about their private bedroom time. Did you guys do the nookie nookie? Now, I don't know about y'all, but absolutely not having that conversation with you, Molly. Absolutely not. They both chime no together, and Molly doesn't just drop it. She's like, well, why didn't you guys? Of course, like, because it was not the right time and place. But again, she's not realizing that basically your son is saying you were the problem. That's why. You were right there. You're the problem. I wasn't feeling comfortable. No one wants their first time to be with the mama being in the room right next door. Like, come on. But she's like, oh, if you guys are having problems, you can come to us anytime. If you have questions, you know, it takes practice. And, you know, then she goes into detail about like fondling and other types of. I was like, oh, Lord. Forrest gets really upset and tells her that she's being very disrespectful. And Sheena just wants privacy, which absolutely makes sense. Can you imagine how awkward that was for them? Do you want to add anything, Abby?
I mean, I agree with what Becca said. Hey, Becca, by the way, Becca Kitty Meow. It would be one thing to ask him separately, which I also think is a little weird. I'm thinking it from like a parenting perspective. When your child has reached that age, I think that we've topped out of all the conversations that we need to have about your sexual health, your sexual choices, protecting your body. I think we're done with all of those conversations. And then that's for you and your adult partner. Because don't forget, you guys, they're not in their 20s. They're in their 38 and 40, right?
40.
They're like they're old enough that these are not conversations that they need to be having with a parent. And I understand like your parents are supposed to be there for you forever to go to for everything, but this is intrusive. This is a violation of multiple boundaries.
Yeah, Molly has zero boundaries. She has zero boundaries, and I think that she thought that she was going to find her son some little passive woman that would take care of her son, but also still let her son be under her Molly's control. Period. That's what I thought. And so now she's having a lot of issues, especially when it comes to Sheena and Forrest actually really, really, really liking her and spending time with her and choosing her. Because now all of a sudden, Molly thinks that Sheena is controlling. y'all have been here for one day.
Right. Well,
Because
Molly clearly wanted to control both of them.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So she's mad. She thinks that Forrest is being disrespectful to her, as well as she thinks that Sheena is now controlling Forrest because Forrest would never speak to her this way had it not been for Sheena. That's what she's thinking. Okay. So there's a Catholic festival on, and what we learn about this festival, it's to celebrate the Chinese New Year, and we learn that Sheena is part Chinese and part Filipina. And so again, we're learning about her and her history. And she's going to take them to a noodle place to get good noodles. Again, I talked about how the noodles are made from scratch. She explains the tradition that slurping is a good thing in the noodles. It means you're really enjoying your food. And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose because Molly and her big mouth is going to now attack this woman who's paying for everything for them about her spending money. So Molly says, thank you, because she apologizes. Sorry, for all the confusion, whatever. Thank you for your apology, but confronts her, telling her she lied about the money that she's giving to her parents, and she was supposed to be saving to come to America. And Sheena starts crying and explains that she's scared of her parents. Her parents guilt trip her into giving them money. And Molly, screaming in her face, says, well, that's not a direct answer. I want a direct answer. And she's trying to explain that, listen, these are my parents. I have a different culture than you. And in our culture, we have to take care of our parents. But she's not trying to hear that. And she is dismissing everything that Sheena is saying. And then to top it off, I feel, this is me saying it, she's trying to manipulate Sheena into A, thinking that she's crazy, and B, that she's done something wrong, when really she's spending her own money. And how dare you guys, because she's not only spending her own money on her parents, she now has this whole new family that she has to spend money on because you all are broke asses. Like, what? Right. And you have the audacity to confront her and scream at her while she's paying for the food that you're slurping down in your mouth? Make it make sense. Where's your gratitude? And then the other part that just blew my mind. Okay, so the other thing is she has to give the money to her parents because she's the breadwinner in the family. Don't know if you know anything about the Philippines, but that's part of it. The children and the eldest child and all of that. So she feels obligated to help her parents. And then Molly's like, well, why didn't you tell us you were giving your parents the money? You've been lying about that for years now, and says it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I was like, what doesn't make sense to you? Like, it makes sense to me. What part, Molly, doesn't make sense to you? The fact that you're not getting the money, the fact that she's not saving the money to send herself to America to stay with your broke asses, because why not just save the money for herself and then on her own get herself to America? And then she doesn't even have to support you all, because what are you all bringing to the table? Nothing. And so you're mad about that because you thought that just like how her parents get money from her, that you were going to get money from her. And that's what you're mad about, because you didn't get the money. Now, I say all that, and I say this to Forrest directly. You sat there and let your mom talk crazy to her, and you didn't defend her. Your woman is crying beside you. I'm so glad that they didn't have sex, because, your first time is intense, and whoever you lose your virginity to, you really are like soul tied to them for life. Like, even if you never speak to them again, you remember them because you always remember your first time. And so I'm so glad that didn't happen, because now you're starting to see the type of person he is. So you're in a dark alley. Is he going to stand up for you, or is he going to let whoever say and do whatever? Because looking at his mama scream at your face and him just sit there looking at you is wild to me. You should know better. So then when Molly says it doesn't make sense to her, he finally says, well, it makes sense to me because she loves her parents and she wants love from her parents, just like I love you and I want love from you. That was the only thing he said that made any sense. He said it at the last coaching hour, and I was not impressed.
Yeah, he let that go on for entirely too long. It shouldn't even be a line of questioning. It's very troublesome to me that she doesn't have anyone to advocate for her right now.
Facts. Usala says Molly's totally out of line for scolding Sheena for spending her own money. Facts. Tina says if you look up audacity in the dictionary, there's a picture of Molly. Facts. Listen.
I could 8 with that one.
Facts, Becca. That's all I'm going to say is facts. And Tina says, looks like Sheena will be sponsoring herself. This show is wild. It is wild, Tina, and that's why we love it.
Yeah. Busola asked earlier, do you think the producers would put Molly up to asking these intrusive questions?
I don't think so. I think that they give a ballpark of what they're looking for. This is what we want your scene to look like. These are the topics, but they like people to use their own voice because especially if you're not like a trained actor and you're just like, not that you're just, but if you're a reality show participant, you've probably never been on a reality show before. So you're going to speak authentically, and that's what they want, because if you're trained, you're not going to speak as authentically because you know what you should and should not say, so that you don't get trapped in a crazy soundbite.
Right. I think this is just who Molly is, Busola. We saw her go to the lingerie store. It was not a lingerie store, but I don't think I can say that's kind of store it was here, with her son. And the conversations that she was initiating were just as outlandish as the stuff that she said in the car. So I think this is just Molly's personality.
Yeah, it was like Molly and Lisa should absolutely be besties.
Right? They're just gross together. Sorry, that wasn't very nice. They're not gross. They're not gross. They're abrasive and forward. I'm sorry, Linda.
I'm trying to figure out why they're not gross. Because
Well, it was a mean thing to say. I'm trying to not be mean.
Oh. But is it mean or was it accurate? Was it mean or was it accurate?
I'm fighting against myself right now.
Okay, well.
Tina said they are gross.
Because that's accurate. Thank you, Tina. Accurate. I'm like, you're making me doubt what I think gross means. They're gross. Both of them. Gross. Gross. Blah, blah. That's childish. That's childish. No. Okay. Last and certainly least in my books, is Birkin and Laura. I'll let you go first, Abby.
He's homeless. He's a hobosexual. You guys, this is a rare Pokemon. This is the homosexual immigrant who is still living in his glory days of when he used to be a soccer player. So many stereotypes wrapped into one. The former jock who can't stop living his glory days and thinks that they have some kind of immense intellectual capacity, but they don't have a place to live. Like, what does he think he is, Socrates? Like, what is going on here?
Not Socrates.
Birkin should literally, they should make him a Pokemon character, because what the fuck is happening?
I just said in my notes, no. Just no. That's it. I just want no. I just want to say no. That's it. I don't understand. Okay, women, dear women, Okay, I'm gonna put you onto a little game. Okay, I really do want you guys to follow Russell Hartley. He is an influencer. He talks about all things relationships, and he is pro woman. And I want to tell you that you absolutely should not leave the comfort of your own home where you could have like a glass of wine, you have air conditioning, you have a lovely blanket, a good book to read, you can Netflix and chill. You should absolutely not leave the comfort of your own home and meet some homosexual online and leave your country, pay for tickets, international tickets, and leave your country to go pick up the hobo to bring back to your sweet, loving home. You should absolutely not be paying for the Airbnb that you two are going to stay at because you've now picked up a online homeless person.
Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. Whew. Imagine flying away from your home where you have food and furniture to go meet a homeless man. You could have just gone to the Safeway to do that. I got a homeless person for you, Laura.
Okay, I have to finish because I can't. I've opened the Pandora's box.
Oh my goodness.
So, not only is he homeless, and you guys, I'm going to be petty. And the reason I'm going to be petty is because our whole lives as women, there are such standards. I'm laughing so hard. I'm crying. I feel like snot's about to run out of my nose. Sorry, guys. So the standard of women and what they have to offer often falls on their beauty, right? So what do they look like? And we have to like the Barbie and all the things, right? Just think about how you grew up and what was you were looked at for quality wise, right? It's always like the physical qualities. Women, we've had to deal with that our whole life. So yes, I'm going to be a little bit petty and say this. So if indeed you feel it necessary to leave the warmth and comfort of your own home, if you deem it necessary to leave a country when there's a whole country of hobos in America, if you feel it necessary to travel to get yourself an international hobo, please, for the love of God, they have to at least look the part because Birkin not only is homeless, he's like scrawny 2x4. He could probably go to the dentist and the dermatologist and it would be helpful. But go and at least, if you're going to be stupid about it, be stupid and be looking at something that is fresh faced and gorgeous to you. So at least you get that out of it. Because what I'm telling you, when this fool jumped on the train and then asked her with all her suitcases to meet him at the train station, low vibrations, low energy, low effort. You can't be a homeless bum and on top of that, be low effort.
Linda, he checked in the Airbnb before she even got there because he don't got nowhere to stay.
Listen. I haven't even gone to the breakdown yet, y'all. I'm just telling you what to look out for because this right here, when I said just no. So let me do the breakdown real quick. Laura rented the Airbnb for them. Place is the biggest place he's ever seen in his life because he is homeless. He stays with different friends, couch surfing back to back. So he's never seen an apartment this big, which should tell you, the first thing. He's taking the train to go pick her up. And he doesn't even make it all the way to the airport because he doesn't have a watch. So he doesn't know what time it is. And so he just goes on the train schedule and figures he's going to get to where he's going to get to. And I'm just going to throw it in there. I don't think he had enough pesos to get to the airport. I think he was just a one stop. Hey, meet me as far as my ticket can get me. And I'll just say I'm running late. So you schlep all your stuff because I just don't have enough money to get to the next station. And if they check me, they'll see that I'm a train jumper. So she takes her big suitcases and her carry-on and schleps them in this foreign country that she's never been to onto the train to meet him at the train station that he is waiting for her at. Now, one of the things, Laura, and good on you, and you look gorgeous. She lost a lot of weight over 14 months, and she looks amazing. But again, because as I just said, women are held to a standard, and body positivity is often not taught to us. All the things, she is dealing with some insecurities, and we all have them. So she's worried that this homeless man, is not going to like her, which is just like blowing my mind right now. But here we are. Now, we learned that Birkin, his goal is to get engaged and go to America. That's his goal. He literally said, my goal is to get engaged and go to America, not fall in love and find my soulmate, not find the love of my life, not I'm so in love with Laura. My goal is to get engaged, insert person here, go to America here. And that person has to fund that whole dream. And I don't know if you remember a couple of episodes back, Abby, who has been to Turkey, recognized the area that they were staying in. And that's often found as a tourist area. And so she was not surprised that he was actually staying in that area. And if you put 2 and 2 together to make 4, he might be like prowling around for tourists specifically so that he can get to his end goal.
Exactly.
They meet at the train station. They hug. He's thinking about when he's going to go to America. He literally said that. So she's looking all goo goo gaga at this homeless man. And she's like hanging on his neck, looking up to her. He finally kisses her. And she's like, oh, I can't believe that after so long, I'm finally here. And then instead of saying, yes, I can't believe you're here, you love my life, he's like, yeah, I can't wait till I get to make this flight to America. Good Lord. She's rose-eyed, goggles on. She's talking about those dark romances that she loves. He is the main character. I don't know about you, but I've not read a romance novel where the main character was homeless. Which has never been romanticized in anything I've read, Laura. And then she thinks that this is the most romantic thing, but she doesn't realize it's a slight. So when she says, yes, he's everything I've ever dreamed, main character energy, and then the producers ask him to look at her, he's like, oh, I don't need to look at her. I mean, I felt it. Yeah, you felt cha-ching, I'm going to America.
Oh, Lord. Okay, question. Mm-hmm. How much of this is Laura's fault? Because they showed us the communication that they had before they got there, and it does appear that she used a lot of filters when she would chat with him and when she would send photos.
I mean, you're not wrong, right? You're not wrong, but at the same time, I think that goes with like self-esteem and body image and all of that stuff. And, we learned this with the other Laura and Ziad and the filters and all the things. Like, I don't know why you guys do that if you ever want to meet the person in person, because they're going to see what you look like. Like, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think in the live chat. Main clown energy facts. It's an awkward silence. So he barely got that kiss out, right? He barely got the kiss out. He's like, yeah, I don't need to look at her, which said a whole lot to me because as soon as they got on the train together, there was an awkward silence. And Laura's now starting to feel confused. Like, he's acting like he doesn't know her. He's not looking at her. He's not talking to her. She leans in to whisper to him, and he's like stiff as if, like, don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
So something's feeling off to her. It's freaking her out. It should freak you out because he's showing you exactly who he is, right? So you're not going to change that first impression. That gut instinct that you're having that's telling you run, you should have probably have done that at this point. They get to the apartment. He's excited because, you know, now he's back to normal because, you know, he's living in an apartment for free and it's the biggest apartment he's ever been in because, you know, he's homeless. She wants to like get to know him and have like, you know, some unwind time, not saying like that, but like, you know, one-on-one time. And he's like, no, let's change. We'll go see the coast. Izmir they go to, which is like a water view. They're walking along, looked beautiful, beautiful architecture, art. And he says, architecture is art. And this is what we live in. And that's the only thing, this is the only good thing I could say about him, because I agree with that. The history of some of these buildings, especially in abroad, is amazing. It's amazing. It's like, it literally is art that people are living and breathing and seeing.
Especially in Turkey, you guys. I really loved Turkey. Loved Turkey because I forgot how much is there. It's so well preserved from the Byzantine, from the Ottomans. Like, so many of their structures still exist and are still in use today. And they were designed to be beautiful.
Yep. So they do that, and then they go back to the Airbnb. She's exhausted, right? Because she's been traveling for like a full day, and you lose a day. You know, a full day, you lose a day, so you're exhausted, and your body's like, "What time is it?" So yeah, I get that she wants to go to bed. And she's thinking that he's gonna go with her. He's like, no, because don't forget, he's homeless, and so he can't Netflix and chill, right? Because he just hops from one couch to the next couch. So he's gonna sit back, you guys, kick up his feet, okay, and watch a little TV.
He said, I'm enjoying all of these amenities.
Y'all, you don't see how crazy that is? This woman is paying for him to watch TV because, you know, I did say the part about the architecture, and that's the only thing I agree, but it's because he's outside all the time, you guys, wandering the streets because he ain't got no home.
He could have at least said, we could take a shower together, or I'll come give you a massage after you get out the shower. She made a bid for some kind of connection. And he said, no, I'm just going to sit here.
Because he's like, no, I did my part. I showed up. And I'm going to enjoy acting like I live somewhere while I can.
He is about to bare minimum his way to the United States.
All the way. Unless Michael has something to do with it. Because Michael has been texting Laura the whole way. So he tracked her flight. He's been texting and texting and texting, and even in their conversations, because they're such besties, he can tell that her tone is less excited. So he's not sure what that's about, but he's sensing that there's something wrong. And Laura says the same thing. Something feels off. It's not the magical moment that she thought she was going to have. And she is not getting the attention that she thought she was going to get from Birkin after she spent thousands and thousands of dollars. And so the moral of the story of the ladies is first of all, as this is what I believe. Okay. If a man, you're the prize. Okay. You're the prize. And if a man is long distance, wherever he is, and he wants you to come and see him, he must provide that travel, the whole travel arrangement. You should not be coming out of pocket if he's trying to fly you out. That makes no sense because guess what? You're the prize. So when you go there, and I'm about to say something that sounds crazy, but it's true. When you go there and you get all dolled up and, he gets to have a little ding-a-ling-a-ling along, that's you. You're the prize. So are you telling me that you're going to pay for yourself to go and ding-a-ling it out over there when as a woman you could walk down the street and ding-a-ling along for free all day, every day? Why are you now coming out of pocket to ding-a-ling-a-ling all around town? It doesn't make sense to me. If anything, okay, you can at least, if you're going to bare minimum it and you're going to lowball yourself, I am saying all the funniest things, you guys, and I'm not even doing it on purpose, but it all is making such great sense. You're going to lowball yourself, then go ahead and just Netflix and chill in the comfort of your own home and let the homo-sexual homeless bum come to you so that when you're ready for him to be unhoused again, you could just open the door and scoot, you go.
The amount of money that she spent, she could have hired a professional to give her time and attention, a nice couple of dates out, maybe even take a vacation together, not to Turkey, but somewhere else. But what do I know? I don't know anything. What do I know? I don't know anything.
Tina says, Mr. Vanilla Ice, baby. I was thinking, I think it's Shaggy. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, don't stop ring. Booyaka, booyaka. I don't know, but that's the song.
Yeah. This I don't get. I don't understand what Laura's doing, but at least Birkin is very clear and direct about what he wants. He's not lying to us. He's not trying to pull wool over anybody's eyes. That man said, my dream is we will get engaged, go to America, get married. Okay? Now, Laura, 5 years from now, 4 years from now, 3 years from now, when this man leaves you, I don't need you going to USCIS trying to get his green card snatched up because he is telling the truth right now. Okay?
Same for you, Lisa. Okay? Just because that man was all grossed out and proposed to you as soon as you got off the plane, which we'll talk about next week, what Abby said. I don't want to hear any nonsense. I don't want to see you get all Angela on him because your feelings are now hurt. No.
I don't want to hear it because it's right here in your face. It is not covert. This is not an Eve situation.
That part. All right, y'all. Happy Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and y'all tell a friend. I'm stuck at the same numbers. I'm trying to level up in 2026. Abby and I have lots of great things to say. And you guys, don't forget to follow Abby all across her socials. She's doing the thing. And we'll see you guys on Monday. Happy weekend. Bye.